If you're a relatively new viewer to this program, I will say again for the record that I am fully aware that the Islamic State was created by Western intelligence agencies. This has been documented by Defense Intelligence Agency reports obtained through the Freedom of Information Act by the government watchdog group Judicial Watch. I reported on this in May when Judicial Watch first publicized these documents, showing that the Defense Intelligence Agency knew in August of 2012 that continuing to arm al-Qaeda in Iraq would lead to a situation where the group would gain enough strength to declare its own independent Islamic state in Syria and Iraq and destabilize both of those nations. That's exactly what's happened. So, yes, I do know that the American government is responsible for creating this monster. However, having said all that, it doesn't make the people in Paris any less dead. It doesn't make the grief of the families and friends of the victims any less real. And it doesn't mean that the Islamic State doesn't still want to kill you and me.
I think the biggest risk that comes from Russia's operations in Syria is an accidental conflict or an accidental skirmish with the U.S.-led ISIS coalition. Accidental conflict or an accidental skirmish with the U.S.-led ISIS coalition.
Tonight I want to speak to you about what the United States will do with our friends and allies to degrade and ultimately destroy the terrorist group known as ISIL. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes.
Yes, let's fight against ISIS forces by speeding up the training of ISIS forces.
We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
The meeting in the White House over 2 years ago, everyone in the national security team recommended arming ISIS.
We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
The U.S.-led ISIS coalition.
We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
I've been skeptical from the get-go about the notion that we were going to effectively create this proxy army inside of Syria. Tonight I call on Congress again to give us additional authorities and resources to train and equip these fighters. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
А вы чего? Разве вы не понимаете, кто там воюет? Там воюют наемники. В основном. Вы знаете, что там платят деньги?
Give us additional authorities and resources to train and equip these fighters.
I guess it's not supposed to make sense. I don't know.
I've been skeptical from the get-go. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces about the notion that we were going to effectively create this proxy army inside of Syria. We must declare war on war so the outcome will be peace upon peace. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
You're absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith.
With the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces. With the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces. With the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
As we send thousands of people to possibly die in a Syrian civil war that the CIA helped cause, to regime change Assad, which is really what this is all about. And what's really weird is how it's openly being declared in the media that this is a regime change. We even had one of our Congress people come out and say it's a regime change. The CIA should probably stop trying to do that.
The issue here that I'm concerned with, and that is the fact that the U.S. and the CIA are working to overthrow the Syrian government of Assad, while Russia, a longtime ally of Assad for decades now, is working to defend or uphold this Syrian government of Assad. And this puts us in a position of a possible direct head-to-head conflict with Russia as long as the U.S. and CIA continue down this path.
That's how openly, blaringly, nakedly corrupt and horrible and evil this whole thing is in everyone's face, and it just continues.
Assalamu alaikum. Many other Americans have Muslims in their families or have lived in a Muslim-majority country. I know because I am one of them. But my father came from a Kenyan family that includes generations of Muslims. As a boy, I spent several years in Indonesia, and heard the call of the azan. As the Holy Quran tells us, the Holy Quran teaches that, the Holy Quran tells us, and the Holy Quran also says, we will convey our deep appreciation for the Islamic faith, which has done so much over the centuries to shape the world. I also know civilization's debt to Islam. Islam is not part of the problem in combating violent extremism. It is an important part of promoting peace. In the United States, rules on charitable giving have made it harder for Muslims to fulfill their religious obligation. That's why I'm committed to working with American Muslims to ensure that they can fulfill zakat. It is important for Western countries to avoid impeding Muslim citizens from practicing religion as they see fit. We are no longer a Christian nation.
We do not consider ourselves a Christian nation.
The United States has been enriched by Muslim Americans. Since our founding, American Muslims have enriched the United States. Islam has always been a part of America's story. There is a mosque in every state in our union and over 1,200 mosques within our borders.
You know, one of the points I want to make is that if you actually took the number of Muslims Americans, we'd be one of the largest Muslim countries in the world.
Let there be no doubt, Islam is a part of America.
He did bow to the Muslim king, while he did not do it to the British Queen of England. And by bowing, he showed the world that I am subservient. I do bow down to you as a Muslim king, something no other president has done with Saudi Arabia. The Saudi king is his peer. He is not his subordinate in order to bow for him. And this is exactly what Obama did. Usually it is out of respect that someone would nod his head when bowing to royalty, and the ladies will give curtsy. But Obama went beyond what is required as a head of state and bowed to the Saudi king, and that's unacceptable.
Right,
it sent the wrong symbol.
I have known Islam on 3 continents before coming to the region where it was first revealed. That experience guides my conviction.
You're absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith.
Presidential candidate Barack Obama is trying to change political fashion. He gave a speech in Iowa City today, and he wasn't wearing an American flag pin. Those pins have become synonymous with politicians since 9/11. Obama says he doesn't like how the pin has come to represent patriotism in America.
I won't wear that pin on my chest.
It's a little weird, Alan, that in the middle of the campaign the guy takes off the American flag that most people wear because they're proud of their country.
Let me speak as clearly and as plainly as I can. America is not and never will be at war with Islam.
That the commander confessed to receiving funds routed through the United States to recruit young people to fight in Syria. Al-Salafi reportedly said he received around $600 for every recruit he sent to Syria, and that he was working with the support of an imam. The paper quotes one source saying the U.S. has been condemning the Islamic State activities, but unfortunately has not been able to stop the funding of these organizations, which is being routed through the U.S. This report raises so many questions. First of all, is al-Salafi telling the truth? If he is, does this make U.S. banks complicit in funding terrorists? And another one, were U.S. authorities aware of this? It's no secret that just a little over a year ago, fighting ISIS was not a priority for the U.S. Washington was focused on trying to remove Bashar Assad from power. We now hear that President Obama will ask Congress for $5.3 billion to equip and train Iraqi soldiers and quote-unquote moderate Syrian rebels to fight the Islamic State militants. Over the past few years, Washington has been much criticized for not having a good idea about who exactly is doing the fighting on the side of the opposition in Syria. And many are now concerned that some part of this new package of funding and weapons could end up in the hands of ISIS.
Okay, I'm just going to do it for you guys in real time so that you can see that there's no joke here. Okay, watch this.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, now, so this is iMovie, what I'm using here, and I have the ability to do what's called a reverse. See, all I have to do is click that little button, and it reversed the clip around. Now let's see what the clip says now. There's no denying that. All I did was reverse this clip.